this. Let's start off with this first story that I can't tell if it's funny or ironic. It's a little bit sad. So this anonymous forum, somebody said, I just voted for him, being Trump, because he's gonna kill Obamacare. I'm unemployed and Obamacare effing sucks. I'd rather just have the ACA by itself instead of this communism shit. And then someone replied, Obamacare is the ACA. It is literally keeping you alive. You voted to take away your health care. This dude voted to take away his own health care. Someone said it's true, look it up. Why the F do people have two different names for it? Obama equals bad and affordable equals good. I hate Democrats. I guess branding really is that simple, but you saw after the election, there was a massive spike, a massive increase in the amount of people searching. What is a tariff? What is a mass deportation? What is Trump's deportation plan? What is Obamacare? Does Trump want to remove Obamacare? And all of the answers to those questions are not quite good. We also see people like Jackson Hinkle, who just posted about 30 minutes ago, total MAGA betrayal. Trump's cabinet members should be in prison, not the White House. And this is because Trump is appointing like semi-normal people to his cabinet. He appointed Marco Rubio as a Secretary of State rather than Vivek Ramaswamy. And listen, I don't like Marco Rubio either. He's spineless, he's slimy, but Vivek Ramaswamy is a new level of ass-kissing slimeball. It's different. It's a different realm with these people. But Jackson Hinkle, who has 3 million followers, is now posting total MAGA betrayal. He was one of Trump's biggest supporters. Pathfinder in the reply said, looking like more of the same thing. Why did Trump even bother with the whole MAGA thing if it was always make Israel great again? I mean, it's just anti-Semitism, but let's go over to here. Soul Sister said, Dearborn, Michigan has reached the find out phase rather quickly. Buyer's remorse is going to be painful in ways Talib forgot to mention when she and her sister started their self-destructive strategy of, quote, making their voices heard. And listen, it's okay if you want to make your voices heard. I know so many people within the Muslim community that have protested, and they have the right to do so. That's what's beautiful about America. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you should be voting for Kamala Harris. You should be voting blue down ballot. And if you voted Trump, I'm sorry, but I lose a little bit of empathy for you when you start to complain about things that Trump enacts. And for you, when you should have protested there, voting out for us 3 million followers is now posting total MAGA betrayal. He was one of Trump's biggest supporters. Pathfinder in the reply said, looking like more of the same thing. Why did Trump even bother with the whole MAGA thing if it was always make Israel great again? I mean, it's just anti-Semitism, but let's go over to here. Soul Sister said, Dearborn, Michigan has reached the find out phase rather quickly. Buyer's remorse is going to be painful in ways Tlaib forgot to mention when she and her sister started their self-destructive strategy of, quote, making their voices heard. And listen, it's okay if you want to make your voices heard. I know so many people within the Muslim community that have protested, and they have the right to do so. That's what's beautiful about America. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you should be voting for Kamala Harris. You should be voting blue down ballot. And if you voted Trump, I'm sorry, but I lose a little bit of empathy for you when you start to complain about things that Trump enacts. And people are going to get mad that I say this, but if you voted for Trump, like all of these stories where Latino MAGA voters are now really worried that their family is going to get deported, I don't feel as bad as I would have a few months ago, and if that makes me a bad person, I don't know. I mean, of course it's still terrible, but if you voted for that, then you voted for that. But Dearborn, Michigan voters have now reached the find out phase. We'll read the article, but this says, the mood in Dearborn, LOI said, is a complete mix of disbelief and wary curiosity. Quote, Trump came to Dearborn and made a lot of promises, he said, adding that residents he has spoken to are wondering what Trump will do for Palestinians. What Trump will do for Palestinians, it's not going to be good, and Trump's entire career is built off of broken promises. LOI thinks the reality is obvious. Quote, it's clear as day that he's playing us, he referring to Trump. LOI said, quote, I think he's going to target us. That's what he's going to do. He's going to target our families, and it's going to hurt, so I think we're about to find out. They said it themselves. We are entering the find out phase, and that's because Trump has appointed people like Stephen Miller. Trump has appointed people like Elise Stefanik. And we can just read the first few lines of the BBC article that came out yesterday when Elise Stefanik was picked as Trump's UN ambassador. It says, President-elect Donald Trump has named Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to serve as the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. A longtime Trump ally, Stefanik is a staunch supporter of Israel and has also been critical of the UN for what she argues is a lack of sufficient backing for its war against Hamas. So Elise Stefanik is more pro-Israel than the Biden administration was. And this isn't even commentary about the war itself. I'm not even giving an opinion about the war itself. I'm just saying Muslim voters in Dearborn, Michigan in particular are in for a rude awakening if they think the Trump administration is somehow more pro-Palestine. I mean, listen to Trump's new U.S. ambassador to Israel saying there's no such thing as the West Bank. This is extremist rhetoric. No matter how you feel about the situation, this is extremist rhetoric.
Personally, and I'm speaking only as a person, I think Israel would only be acting on the property it already owns. I think Israel has title deed to Judea and Samaria. There are certain words I refuse to use. There is no such thing as a West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria. There's no such thing as a settlement. They're communities, they're neighborhoods, they're cities. There's no such thing as an occupation. But they get out of their minds.
Objectively, the settlements in the West Bank need to stop. They are not good. But Donald Trump is appointing these people over and over, and now we're getting people like Jackson Nichols saying total MAGA betrayal. And what you're going to find out is that many Trump supporters will be disappointed over the next 2 years in many different sectors. Whether they were voting for him due to the economy, they're going to find out that tariffs aren't too good for their pocketbook. Whether you're a Muslim voter, you're not going to be too happy about how he handles Israel and Palestine. If you're Latino American or Puerto Rican American and you have family members who are here illegally, which many people do, fine, it's not going to turn out well for you. All these people are voting for Donald Trump. No matter what group you were in, it's not going to turn out well. We don't even have to talk about women in America, white women especially, because black women voted for Kamala Harris at overwhelming rates. Even if you're somebody on the far right, again, like Jackson Hinkle, you're going to be saying total MAGA betrayal only a few days into the presidency. And I don't want to mislead you guys. Most Trump voters are still in their comfy world, happy they voted for Trump, happy they voted away our democracy, but I can guarantee over the next few years, people aren't going to like what mass deportations do to the pocketbooks of their friends and families. If they don't like inflation now, wait until you deport people en masse. But I want to end this off by introducing you guys to an interesting theory that seems to be coming true. By the way, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe. So Will Stancil on Twitter said, apparently the word in the tech world is this. Elon's embrace of Trump is because Elon thinks he can essentially run the White House while Trump rots in front of Fox News, as he did during his first term. It's a way to circumvent the natural-born citizen requirement and let Musk serve as de facto president. That isn't even too much of a stretch in and of itself. I mean, Elon Musk being a puppet master, he gave $119 million of his own money. I mean, he gave $44 billion plus $119 million. He bought Twitter just so he could help leverage that platform to get Trump elected, and now we hear reports like this from Caitlin Collins.
Mar-a-Lago has basically been brimming for the last 2 days, I'm told, with two kinds of people. Those angling for a job and those who are trying to influence Trump into hiring their picks. But one person has loomed over all of that. His name is Elon Musk. Multiple sources tell me tonight that Musk has been seen at Mar-a-Lago nearly every single day since Donald Trump won, dining with him on the patio at times. Today, they were seen on the golf course together. Musk has been in the room when world leaders have called Trump. And tonight we've learned he's also weighing in on staffing decisions, making clear his preference for certain roles even. Publicly tonight, Elon Musk is backing Florida Senator Rick Scott as the next leader of the Republican conference to replace Mitch McConnell. While Musk himself is still not expected to take any kind of formal position inside Trump's administration, given how complicated it would be with his companies, what's becoming clearer tonight is that he doesn't really need to. With one source telling me Elon Musk is having just as much influence from the outside.
Again, this is the actual definition of an oligarchy. I mean, putting rich people in power so they can just benefit themselves. But to take a step back, Muslim Americans, if any Muslim Americans are watching this, I'm sure you already know, especially if you're 10 to 12 minutes into my video already, you understand this, but Donald Trump is not the friend of Muslim Americans. Even though he may seem like this macho, strong man, even if you are a little bit socially conservative, which many Muslims tend to be, Donald Trump is the one who enacted a Muslim ban within his first week in office. I think it was his first day in office back in 2017. Joe Biden was the one who removed that Muslim ban. Biden removed it in his first week as an FU to Trump and to show the Muslim community that he cares. Donald Trump always talks about Barack Hussein Obama. He makes sure to place emphasis on Hussein. Meanwhile, the Democrats elected Barack Hussein Obama. We didn't care. We loved that he was black and that his middle name was Hussein. That was even better. So either way, Muslim Americans, please vote blue.
Hi, I've reported you to the police for stalking. You got the wrong person, so they don't know who you are.
Smart Schoolboy 9 is back, and he is more insane than ever.
And you mentioned schoolboys? Why do you like Smarty School Kid 9 or whatever? That's a young boy.
Yeah, he's gone off the rails. It's pretty wild, to be honest with you. Now, I, like many of you, thought that this whole thing was over. I thought this was just a fad that the internet had, and they got over it pretty quickly. But unbeknownst to me, a lot of stuff has been going on behind the scenes, and David's been sending voice messages to pretty much everyone who messages him. I think one big reason that a lot of Smart Schoolboy 9 has recently taken the internet by storm as one of its most historically deranged and creepy individuals. He has shown himself to be a consistently horrifying and genuine threat to those around him, with speculated police investigations and endless cyber sleuths. But the scariest part about his presence is that no one knows who he is. Right, hello everybody, it's me, Dan Kijabo, and today we're going to be talking about Smart Schoolboy 9. Now, there's been a lot of chat about this bloke. Mainly, it's the video that Nick Crow made about him. It's like a 40-minute long documentary sort of video essay type of thing, and I think all in all it was a pretty good video. I do have some issues with it that I'll cover, in this one, but the whole point of this video is that, once again, cover it a little bit later than everyone else, just so I can get as much information as possible to give the most, I guess, educated view that I possibly can. So I found the first post post that actually sparked this whole controversy or led to this being like as widely known as it is right now. So before I show that, be sure to subscribe to the channel because, as always, the support has been incredible. I think the last video, the subscriber ratio was way higher than it's ever been. So cheers for that. And yeah, I appreciate it. So here's the post. It stems from where all the greatest things on earth stem from. Reddit. Creepy accounts pretending to be kids. I came across a reel randomly and it's led me down this weird rabbit hole of people using AI.
Smart Schoolboy 9 is a mysterious figure that in 2024 has taken the internet by absolute storm. From viral videos to incredibly disturbing theories, the topic is something that has caused a large amount of panic and hysteria throughout internet forums and YouTube comment sections. But despite the hysteria and massive amounts of conversations surrounding this saga, it's interesting because honestly, not much is really known still to this day about Smart Schoolboy 9. There is of course speculation, concern, absolutely wild theories, but there is no absolute truth surrounding who or what exactly is Smart Schoolboy 9. And that's of course where I introduce the main reason that you and I are here today, and that reason being the iceberg. You see, in today's video, I aim to go through every single piece of major lore to do with Smart Schoolboy 9, from the very most popular talking points surrounding him to the most dark and disturbing theories that have left so many people in a place of truly being disturbed about this man.
That's all.
I think I hear a running tram.
Okay. Yes, and on the school bus.
Now yes, those clips are obviously very creepy to look at, and honestly, if you don't know who Smart Schoolboy 9 is, you're probably very confused at this point, but don't worry, this video will answer plenty of questions. But if you do know who Smart Schoolboy 9 is, then you will know that this topic right now, this saga, has been absolutely spoken about by everybody. And when a topic garners a lot of attention on the internet, it leads to hysteria. And what you're going to discover when we go through today's iceberg is that things aren't necessarily what they seem. There are some very creepy things that have definitely happened. There are some theories that could possibly be true. But in this iceberg, I aim to go through every single theory and every piece of major lore because I want to really show what is real, what could possibly be real, and what is definitely false. With all the hysteria going around on the internet right now surrounding Smart Schoolboy 9, I really thought this would be the best way to go about this. And as you can see, this iceberg has been separated into 7 different layers, and every single layer involves a different topic, which have been placed in here by multiple researchers and people that have came together to make this iceberg. From the very tip of the iceberg, which is the most known topics that you would probably discussed with your friends, chatted about, theorized about, but then we move further down the iceberg through the more obscure pieces of lore, and eventually we hit the abyss, where the truly most disturbing possible theory and pieces of lore reside. This is the place where the internet really went crazy, with some of the most absolute heinous things being alleged. But before we get into this, I do just want to say this isn't Hey, this isn't going to be like a regular commentary style video speaking about Smart Schoolboy 9. This isn't an expose where I'm giving the latest developments on whatever is going on in the world of Smart Schoolboy 9. I want this video to be a bit of an introduction to the topic, but also at the same time a video to kind of just explain absolutely everything, not in a chronological timeline, but in a way which I think can be satisfying to you, the viewer, and more enjoyable for me to go through rather than making a 5-hour video documenting the chronological timeline of Smart Schoolboy 9. But also, I should just say that everything that we're going through today is of course based around theories and allegations, and the things in this iceberg should absolutely not be taken as fact. And please, for the love of God, do not harass people involved in this iceberg and the law that we're going to be speaking about today. But one last request is also, before we get into the iceberg, could you please subscribe to the YouTube channel? My friends, the amount of research and script writing I have had to do to make this iceberg video is genuinely ridiculous. We're going to go to points of insanity that I genuinely didn't expect, so it would really mean a lot to me if you subscribe to the channel, because, you know, like 50% of you aren't subscribed. If you like the video, I just commented, hi Kenji. Hello, here's my dogs. Just say something nice to Kenji. But yes, let's finally get into things. So yes, my friends, like all good things, it starts with the tip. This tip is the tip of the iceberg, which, as you can see here, is probably all the topics that most of you, if you know about this saga, are familiar with, and that starts us off with Numerous Cut 792. Now, despite what I did just say, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you actually haven't heard this name before, but the reason that it's at the beginning and the very tip of the iceberg is mainly due to the fact that you have kind of inadvertently probably heard about this person if you have watched any video about Smart Schoolboy 9, because Numerous Cut 792 is a Reddit user that basically started this entire story on April the 16th, 2024 at 1:41 in the morning. His post was on Reddit and it was titled "Creepy Accounts Pretending to be Kids," and the description said this: "I came across a reel randomly and it led me down this rabbit hole of people using AI or dressing up pretending to go to school. They all seem to have high heels check images in them. Is this an age play thing or something more sinister? Literally anything helps as I keep trying to look for answers." And then multiple images were attached to the Reddit posts, which contained very, very creepy looking imagery to do with all of the accounts that they were referencing. And then in the final two images attached, it leads us to today's main talking points: Smart Schoolboy 9. And yeah, due to the disturbing nature and the contents of what they attached to that Reddit post, it got a lot of people talking, and there it started with this story where people started looking further into this rabbit hole and doing their own investigations. One user wrote that they found all the accounts and blocked them. Another said, "Truthsticks11, which is one of the accounts, is seriously creepy to me. I've been going to try and find more about them, but I can hardly find anything. Very weird account to say the least." And yeah, it very much seems that this was the beginning to the entire story. I don't believe that there are any posts in regards to what this person is saying before this, so pretty much this individual started off this entire saga, and with that it leads us into the next section of the iceberg, which is of course Smart Schoolboy 9. Now honestly, my friends, I'm not exactly too sure how to go about this, mainly because, well, this whole iceberg is about Smart Schoolboy 9, so I don't necessarily want to go into specifics or the subgenre of lore to do with Smart Schoolboy 9. I do just want to give a bit of a base explanation on who Smart Schoolboy 9 is, or the account that he was running at the time. So yeah, I guess we'll start right here with this Instagram account called Smart Schoolboy 9, who claims to be a 10-year-old mixed-race schoolboy, and his account is monitored by his own mother. And you know, the profile picture next to that bio alone is extremely creepy, but when you scroll to the previews of multiple posts on this account, there's immediately a disturbing feeling that radiates from every single post here. The up-close images of someone who clearly isn't 10 years old, the tongue, the overall style, there's just something at face value that really did seem completely off here. There was something that was just so, I guess, uncanny valley about this account, and you can kind of understand why it got more people talking. But ironically enough, this was only the tip of the iceberg, because with people doing research, they started to find a lot of weird things about this account. They found out this wasn't just a weird aesthetic of somebody dressing up as a schoolboy. No, in fact, they were taking images seemingly of real children and using them to pretend to be those children. In this post here, Smart Schoolboy 9 posts a photo of himself in the top right, then he randomly has mini boots in the bottom right, and then on the left, there is a random photo of an extremely creepy looking child, who I won't show the full picture of right now because it seems that this is an actual real image of a kid that has had some form of, I guess, AI enhancements made on the kid, or some form of Photoshop edits, which have given the kid a rather large mouth with very red lips. And the caption of the post is, "Here at school, I've been paired with Wilfred, and how cool too, as we're quite good at environmental studies and loads of English studies in the Achiever classroom. It's a quality place." And there were multiple posts just like this, of where the creator of Smart Schoolboy 9 had taken a photo of a real kid, and he had used it in the way that he had posted that kid there, of where there were some creepy edits done to those kids. They had big red lips in basically every single photo, and naturally, more and more people start to suspect some, I guess, nefarious things going on here. Something disturbing really did come from these posts. But just like the red post that started this entire saga said, this is a rabbit hole, and as you go further down the rabbit hole, it just gets creepier and creepier. For example, somebody found a screenshot of Smart Schoolboy 9 commenting on a photo of a child's Instagram account saying, "Do you like school? I do, it's good." And then another comment of him was found strangely commenting on another child's photo saying to be aware of creeps on the internet. And then another one was found of a room called out for being terrifying. And then Smart Schoolboy 9 replied, alluding the person calling him terrifying was engaging in illegal activity. And of course, when people started to stumble upon this rabbit hole, it was just very confusing and very weird, because now we not only have this person who was commenting on photos of kids, but he was also calling out other people for being creeps or even possible criminals, which, given everything we're going to get into in this video, well, it's just extremely ironic. But the more people went down this rabbit hole, the more terrified they became, because not only were there posts of images of random kids on this, but there were also videos of Smart Schoolboy 9 himself, which really made things even more terrifying. Because when it comes to accounts of people getting up to, I guess, dodgy activity or even possible illegal activity, usually they wouldn't show their face. They would be anonymous and hiding behind possible fake imagery, just like the images we've seen so far. But in this case, Smart Schoolboy 9 was very happy to post videos of himself doing really weird and creepy things.
I don't see. Okay. Yes, and on this call bus.
Now, immediately, I jump back to the phrase that I used earlier of uncanny valley. That's what these clips give. Just an uncanny, disturbing vibe. It's hard to explain. Well, it's not really. It is just a very creepy looking person. Who knows who this guy is and why he is doing this? And it only sparked up more conversation from this Reddit post. Because this is clearly an adult man pretending to be a school child world. Why would they be doing this? Is it for some form of weird aesthetic, artistic purposes? Is it for some weird criminal purposes? It was at the beginning a very confusing situation, and it only started to expand the conversation. And with that, it leads us nicely into the next section of the iceberg, which is Nick Crowley. Now, Nick Crowley is a YouTuber known for investigating extremely disturbing rabbit holes on the internet. And in August of 2024, one of those rabbit holes that he investigated was, of course, Smart Schoolboy 9. And in this video, he discusses that he has been investigating Smart Schoolboy 9 for months, and the other accounts surrounding it that were posted in Numerous Cut 792's original post. And this pretty much is the spark that light the fire of this entire conversation and saga, because yes, Nick Crowley didn't start the conversation about this whole topic, but he definitely did get the eyes on it. He got so many people invested in this topic. His video got over 10 million views, it got over 50,000 comments, and pretty much the entire world was now introduced to Smart Schoolboy 9. And of course that led to more and more people speaking on Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, but also, most importantly, YouTube. Because with one YouTuber talking about it, it was of course going to lead to other YouTubers talking about it, and that does lead us into the next section of the iceberg, which is of course Nexpo. Now Nexpo is again another YouTuber that speaks about a lot of creepy rabbit holes on the internet, and 2 days after Nick's video, Nexpo uploaded their own video going through the rabbit hole, which also featured Nick Crowley, as the two had been collaborating on this case and investigation. And because of Nexpo's video, the fire only got bigger, and more people started to speak about this. And when you have YouTubers covering very popular situations, you're always going to get a lot of investigators that don't really have any skin in the game. They don't really have a social media presence, but they want to get involved because they see something absolutely disturbing and interests them. But also, at the same time, you're going to have people that take a popular topic and use it for social gain. And that does lead us into the next sections, which we're going to group into two here, and that is online investigation and Reddit. Now, I should just say, before we get into anything, I don't have any problem with anybody out there who isn't a YouTuber or a TikToker speaking about this subject or doing their own thing of investigation. When I said that it gets people involved who want to, benefit from these situations or even just investigate our personal interest, I don't necessarily think that's a wrong thing, because that happens on YouTube and TikTok as well, where you get influencers who do benefit from these. I mean, every influencer that has spoken about this, including myself, has benefited from it, and if they deny that, then they're completely and utterly lying. But what I was trying to say here is, of course, when you have people benefiting from a situation, you have people that absolutely take advantage of that and go a little bit too far. And this is where I want to introduce the Smart Schoolboy 9 subreddit, which sole purpose is to find information surrounding Smart Schoolboy 9. And what this subreddit has done is pretty much allow people all over the world who don't have a platform to communicate with each other and just collaborate over this investigation, and ultimately, in my opinion, it's pretty much led to a net good. So much information surrounding Smart Schoolboy 9 has come from this subreddit that it's undeniable that it's done a lot of help in this situation. Yet at the same time, it has caused a lot of issues, and that comes from the online investigators who kind of want this whole thing to be the most insane possible thing. As we go throughout this iceberg, you're going to notice some insane and wacky theories that have absolutely no evidence to back them whatsoever. And a lot of this comes from individuals who do want to profiteer, but also people that just can't handle that maybe this topic could just be a very weird and creepy thing, but it isn't going to be the worst possible, most insane thing. And they cannot handle that, so they just go and I guess lie about certain things, fake screenshots, or just make wild theories with no backing. And because of this, people on the Smart Schoolboy 9 subreddit have said that the subreddit should be deleted because it's kind of lost the original objective because of people just either lying, trying to profiteer, or make the story to be even more insane than it actually is. Now, in my opinion, I don't think the subreddit should be deleted. I think it has done a lot of help, and I credit a lot for the research that I've done in this video. I would not have had half the things that I have in this video if this subreddit didn't exist. So realistically, I don't think that it should be deleted. I think maybe it should be slightly more moderated, yet at the same time, you'll then come into issues of what if somebody does have a massive scoop that is legitimate and they can't post because of high levels of moderation. Ultimately, it's another conversation for another day, but yes, the subreddit and the online investigators have definitely been a massive contribution to this saga. And with that, we now need to move into the next section, which is the topic of a predator. Now, a lot of you already know this, but as you probably guessed from some of the things that I've alluded to so far throughout the tip of the iceberg, a lot of people, if not everybody in the world that has seen this situation, believes that Smart Schoolboy 9 is an online predator. Because yeah, naturally people saw Smart Schoolboy 9 using photos of multiple random children without their consent on his pages, pretending to be friends of them, and of course that led to these individuals seeing this and immediately dubbing him as a criminal. And honestly, it's kind of hard to argue with it. There obviously is something very weird and wrong about taking photos of actual kids and using them to, I don't know, build this weird, creepy story where you're pretending to be a kid and also pretending to be friends of them and to go to school with them. It's obviously a very weird thing, yet at the same time, there is the ongoing question of, has he actually committed a crime? Now, we will get further into that as we progress through this iceberg, but yeah, naturally, you can kind of understand why people would call him this. Especially with more screenshots like this leaking of Smart Schoolboy 9 allegedly commenting this on photos of younger kids saying, well, saying the things that he was saying here. And yeah, that is an incredibly predatory thing to comment on photos of people who are underage. And naturally, this has led to videos just outright calling him a predator. But interestingly enough, and in a slight contradiction to what we've been discussing here, the next section of the iceberg that we're going to get into actually kind of goes against everything that we just discussed, and that is in the Truth Sticks 11 section, which introduces us to the next account that Smart Schoolboy 9 is supposedly running, and we'll get into the evidence for that later on, but let's just go through this account right now. As you can see, the account is described by Smart Schoolboy 9 as a beautiful boy, an account looked after me, a degree-educated mother choosing to stay anonymous. Good, original written work, advice, and compassion. And then there is yet again another very weird looking profile picture with another photo of a child that has been taken and changed by some form of editing software or possibly even AI. And then the same sort of trend continues in the actual posts where multiple children are being posted in this very disturbing sort of magazine aesthetic that he's going for on this account. And this account got a lot of people speaking, mainly because Nick Crowley and Nexpo covered this account in their videos, but it got a lot of people also speaking because of the weird sort of anti-predatory stances that the account loved to post. As you can see here, on the 3rd of October 2021, the first post was made, and it was a video warning users about another account pretending to be a younger boy, which is obviously incredibly ironic given everything that we've gone through so far with Smart Schoolboy 9. But yes, in this post, a video is posted by the by the mother of where they say this.
So, that's the account run by a man pretending to be a boy.
Now, yes, obviously the voice, everything, it's incredibly creepy, but it's also, you know, given everything, incredibly ironic. But the second thing that I wanted to point out here is this is obviously undeniable proof that Truthsticks 11 and Smart Schoolboy 9 are the exact same person, because yeah, the voice of the mother so happens to be the same voice as Smart Schoolboy 9.
Who's taking the lead? Stay on
I
target.
hope you like these photos. School is good. Really good. Sorry, I got there. So, that's the account run by a man pretending to be a boy.
So yeah, that's outright confirmation right there. But again, this whole post is very, very weird considering, well, Smart Schoolboy 9 has an obsession on taking photos of kids and using that for his profile or story or whatever he's trying to do. But then he's saying that there are online groups and you should be aware of them. It's all a little bit confusing. The posts only continue from there, where they call out yet again another individual, for this time pretending to be a boy. And then on November 17th, 2021, they posted more about their concerns surrounding online creeps, but then also attached a photo of another child they had taken from another different account where they had definitely not gotten consent to do so. And this strange style of content that they were posting on this account went on for around a year straight. But randomly towards the ending of 2023, the account started to play more into their interest with, well, Truthsticks' story of going to school, and they would post creepy cartoonish photos of like this to kind of demonstrate their run. And then on top of that, even more creepy videos were posted, and I am going to blur sections of this clip, mainly due to the fact that yet again it contains photos that I definitely don't think they've got permission to use.
Enemy health source detected.
There's not really much of a logical take that I can give to this. It's just creepy, disturbing, and weird, and that's a take that I'm going to have for a lot of things throughout this, because honestly, a lot of the posts that either Truthsticks makes or Smart Schoolboy 9 makes are just completely and utterly nonsensical. But pretty much, these two accounts were the original faces of this entire saga, and they got more and more people doing their own investigations into everything. And with that, my friends, we now need to move even deeper into the iceberg, out of the tip and actually into the iceberg, of where we're now going to discover that Smart Schoolboy 9 was, or still is to this day, running a systematic network of accounts where he was taking photos of real people and use those photos to pretend to be friends of them and build up this story that he is a child going to school when me and you know it is a full-grown adult, and it just gets even weirder from here. So yes, congratulations my friends, we are now into the iceberg, and this section of the iceberg is going to go over things that still, most of you, if you know about this saga, will probably know about, but some of the things here are definitely more obscure than the things in the tip of the iceberg, and that does begin us with Stephanie Schooling. Now, Stephanie Schooling is probably the third biggest account in the network of accounts that Smart Schoolboy 9 runs. And this account is very similar to the others. It's yet again Smart Schoolboy 9 posing as a school child, but in this case, he's posing as a 12-year-old girl called Stephanie. And what's interesting about this account is that this is seemingly the first Instagram account that Smart Schoolboy 9 ever created, and we will get into the evidence for that later, but it does kind of feel that he does have an attachment to this Stephanie account, and as we go further down the iceberg, you're really going to see that, and it does link to a lot of other theories deeper in the iceberg. But yeah, Stephanie is really no different to the Truthsticks 11 or Smart Schoolboy 9 accounts. It's dedicated to posting about stories of going to school, and also posting photos of school shoes, which you may notice so far in this iceberg is something that is continuously appearing throughout photos and videos of Smart Schoolboy 9 of where either heel boots or school shoes seem to appear. And I kind of want you to keep track of how many times he posts boots or heels in his photos, because trust me, it's quite a lot, and we will go into specifics later on. But also with Stephanie, she does seem to have a bit of a love for poetry, as if you scroll through a lot of her accounts, you can find she has posted full-on poems, which give us a little bit of insight into the life and lore of Stephanie Schooley, and we're going to go through a bit of a rendition of one of her poems. Kennington Road, London. I'm nearly home from school, and if I've also been shopping, the backtracks are filled with things new. The girliest luxuries, chipped sunshine, recipes that raise the bar. For I'm a kitchen child, and when I do my homework there, a nice table is key for my clever intuition in school subjects. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly Shakespeare, and after this, there are also multiple videos of Stephanie seemingly singing or giving slight renditions of her poetry, and honestly, the live renditions don't make it any better.
Yes, Miss Stephanie. I do have it. Yes, Miss Absolutely. I do have it. That's right. Here I am, the one that you love. Here I am, the one that you love.
Yes, thankfully, I don't think we're going to be seeing Stephanie Schooley on The X Factor anytime soon. But basically, you get the picture. Stephanie had a bit of an obsession with posting very mediocre poetry, and you could argue that it could be from the case of maybe they're trying to play the part of this is a school child and their English literature may not be that good, so the poetry isn't that good. Or on the other hand, maybe the creator of Smart Schoolboy 9 and Stephanie Schooley really does just suck at poetry. But poetry and music-related things are some of the subjects that are gradually going to come through more and more throughout this iceberg, and they will actually allow us to connect a lot of dots. But let's continue. Because aside from poetry, the account also follows similar trends of posting photos and also videos of children. In this video, she claims a video of a random child is her dancing, and in this post, she has another photo of a random child she claims is her school friend. And naturally, a lot of people started to get even more concerned as more information came out about these accounts, because the questions started to rise of, well, how is he getting these photos? Is he monitoring certain accounts where these photos will be, posted? Are certain kids at risk? Should this be notified to the police? It was all very worrying. And even to this day, after the hysteria and millions of people discussing Smart Schoolboy 9, he is still active on the Stephanie account, which he also has on Facebook, where he is still posting photos of random children. And what's interesting about this is, as of recording this YouTube video, TrueSticks11 and Smart Schoolboy 9, those accounts have been abandoned, deactivated, and completely permanently deleted. Yet Stephanie, she still remains, and it's not really known completely why. There are theories, and the main one being that he's emotionally attached to this account, possibly because it's the first account in this cinematic universe that he's created, but also possibly because of some underlying traumatic events that we're going to get into later in this iceberg. Which does then lead us into the next section, which is of course another account, and that is Stunning Stephanie. Now, this account in particular, I did find quite a difficult task of finding any real information or screenshots surrounding it, mainly due to the fact that Smart Schoolboy 9 has seemingly done a lot of effort into purging a lot of his accounts, as I said previously, and this was also one of the accounts purged, but there are still some archived posts from it, and in particular, this photo right here, where Smart Schoolboy 9 is seemingly dedicated to dressing up like he's ready to go to an anime convention. And thinking about it for a second, I probably shouldn't make that joke, considering I myself am wearing an anime neck, but let's just move on. Yes, this photo, it's him in a new outfit, a new, I guess, style, which was a little bit strange considering the aesthetic he has been going on with all of the accounts so far. So far he's been dedicated to school-related imagery, wearing school uniform, but this was something different, and these images have naturally creeped a lot of people out just because of, well, I don't really need to explain why this is creepy. And with that, my friends, we need to move into the next section, which is yet again another account, and that is Schoolgirl Teresa. And yes, as you can imagine, it's another account in the network of accounts that Smart Schoolboy, I can't even say the name, Smart Schoolboy 9 is running. And in this case, he's claiming that Teresa is a Christian schoolgirl, age 16, who is a competent writer. Now, this account is quite important in this iceberg, mainly due to the fact that this is seemingly the first instance we've gone through so far of where Christianity and religion is mentioned, because Smart Schoolboy 9 seems to have a lot of attachments to Christian. Now, I'm not saying like the church are in cahoots with Smart Schoolboy 9. I'm not saying that. But as we're going to discover, Smart Schoolboy 9 is seemingly a Christian, which is very important for actually uncovering the real identity behind all of these accounts. But now, aside from Christianity, this account pretty much does the exact same thing as the Truthsticks account, where it takes a real photo of a child and it seems to do some form of editing on it to give it, I guess, really big red lips. And this does just seem to be a reoccurring pattern throughout all of these accounts and the ones we're going to get into after this. And obviously, that's going to lead into a lot of theories to why Smart Schoolboy 9 is doing this, what he gets out of it, and why he enjoys making all of these images. So then we need to move into the next section of the iceberg, which is yet again another account, which is Girl Chloe 12. Now, this account is particularly interesting, as once again, it is Smart Schoolboy 9 posing as a 13-year-old schoolgirl. But this account is a little bit different, as it actually shows real videos of a real schoolgirl without any editing whatsoever. Which obviously brings up the concern that I mentioned earlier of people stating, how is he getting these photos? How is he getting these videos? And why? Why is he using these videos? But what's also interesting is this account again started off as a bit of an anti-predator account, and is just very confusing and contradictory. But yeah, from these archived previews, you can see a post on the Girl Chloe account that shows us that it was posting things about warning against eating predators. And naturally, the main response and theory to this has been, it's a whole like hidden in plain sight thing. If he says that he's against these things and he's going to call out these things, then maybe people won't suspect him. But let's be real here, people. I feel like this guy is always going to get suspected of being something pretty devious, because, I mean, look, just... Do I really need to say it? But people on Reddit also managed to find a photo of a random TikToker, and it claims that this person looks like the girl that was appearing on the Chloe account. And some people in the comment section of this Reddit post said that they're going to get in contact with her and let her know about this. But honestly, I feel like if Smart Schoolboy 9 was using my images, I'd honestly rather just not know. I'd rather not know that this person knows who I am. Now, maybe that's the wrong way to go about it, especially when we're involving, you know, kids and stuff. But a little note to you all, if Smart Schoolboy 9 is using my photos, just... Actually, don't let him do it. Now I'm saying it, now I'm thinking about it, no. Yeah, contact the police. But then we need to move on to the next account, which is 12 Stockwell Joanne 12. Now, this account in particular has a bit more of a, well, not a bit more, a lot more of a sinister twist surrounding it that the other accounts so far haven't exactly had. So, of course, on the face value, it is posting once again as a 12-year-old called Joanne Tang, and they've posted things such as, "Hi, Joanne Tang here. During half-term school holidays at the independent school I go to, I sometimes go overseas to school here, and it is nice when the plans run smoothly." And yes, given everything that we've gone through so far, this is pretty normal stuff. But then, when you start to investigate deeper into this specific account, you kind of stumble upon some things which, well, could possibly be illegal. For example, I found some Reddit posts which do allege that Smart Schoolboy 9 is apparently posting illegal imagery throughout the account and is simply covering it up with other images. Now, personally, I'm not exactly too sure about this allegation, and of course, I'm not willing to go investigate it or find archives, because I don't exactly want to accidentally stumble across this illegal imagery, but it is where things start to have a bit of a sinister turn. And yes, this could be people going over the top and suggesting things which aren't exactly true, but at the same time, there are things that do point in the direction that maybe the person behind all of this is into some severely illegal things. Now, this account in particular is quite interested in posting about Southeast London by saying that they go to a non-affiliated exclusive continuation of the 1980s Streatham Hill and Clapham High School for girls, but also Stockwell, which is in their name, is also an area of East London. And this is pretty much the beginning of a trend that you're going to notice throughout this iceberg of where Smart Schoolboy 9 seems to have a bit of a particular interest when it comes to Southwest London. He seems to always reference Streatham, Clapham, or even Stockwell, and that has kind of brought up the belief that possibly he either lived in this area at one point of his life, or he is even from this area and moved out from it to another location in the UK. But the account also follows similar traits as many of the other accounts, such as it posts real photos of actual children, and also features cartoon images of heels/boots in pretty much every single post. It is all very creepy and sinister, and naturally it does point in the direction of a lot of theories surrounding Smart Schoolboy 9, and just like all of the other accounts, this account, Stockwell Joanne 12, has also been privated and then deleted. So with that, we move on to one of the final accounts, and that is Mile.s95. And this account is pretty interesting because it brings us back to the classic, and that classic being Smart Schoolboy 9, who in 2020 was interestingly enough claiming to be a schoolboy called Miles, and this time he was 9 years old. Now from what I can see, this account is seemingly the original schoolboy aesthetic that he went with, and I'm not exactly too sure if this Mile person is meant to be the same person of who Smart Schoolboy 9 is. They post very similar images, they dress in the same way, the same makeup is there, and as we've seen previously, there are different characters that he likes to portray, so I'm kind of gonna go off a guess that this account and this account are meant to be the exact same thing. I guess he just wanted to start a new fresh one a few years later with Smart Schoolboy 9. And once again, this account is also following the trend of posting photos of heels, saying that this particular pair of heeled boots was his heeled school mini boots, and then he posted photos of other things such as this packed lunchbox and also a very, very creepy photo. And here he was really outdoing himself, and he posted, you know, multiple photos of the same photo of himself. And I guess he was feeling himself because mysteriously after this, he then posted a video edit of them same photos. Now, personally, I feel like the only logical explanation for this video is he was, you know, really feeling himself that day. He really enjoyed the look that he was going with, so he had to do a million different posts to back it. But yes, this account in particular is quite interesting because, as I said, it is the first documentation of this whole schoolboy arc. But then we need to move on to, again, one of the final accounts, and that is middle name Veronica, which is once again another account posting as a 13-year-old called Stephanie, which does kind of confuse me considering the name, but it does say here in the bio, Stephanie, 13, Greece mostly, genuine girl account with an umbrella of school accounts since and looked after by our parents / private / public. And as you can see, once again, there is the imagery of heels, but also something to note here is that they reference Greece, and Greece is something that has come up a lot in my research into Smart Schoolboy 9 for this video. It kind of feels like he has a bit of an obsession with that location, which has caused a lot of people to speculate maybe he has some heritage linked to Greece, maybe he's got some family over there, or maybe he just went on a nice holiday to Greece in his childhood, or maybe all of the things that caused his trauma that started everything in this story started in Greece. Personally, I think he probably just likes the island, but it's something a lot of people have speculated over. But this account is also quite interesting because once again, it brings in the whole big red lips aesthetic. Because as you can see right here, we have another AI generated image, and in this case, Stephanie, or I guess Smart Schoolboy 9, is claiming to have won a trophy. Sport doesn't have to be win after win or being first. The thirst for first should ideally be side by side with sessions as second or third, because in practicing you learn where the progress may be made. Wow, truly the most inspirational alleged internet predator. But the account also follows the trend of once again posting about London, claiming to go to a school in Kennington Road, London, and I googled this and it even falls into the trend of areas that he has previously spoken about, as it is not too far from Clapham and also Streatham. And a quick side note, it does kind of terrify me that he's obsessed with places like Clapham and West London, because I can't lie, I don't live that far from those areas of London. I'm not obviously going to give my specific location away, way, but I don't really live far. Like a 10-minute tube drive, maybe a bit longer. And I'm kind of terrified that one day, you know, I'm going to be strolling the streets of London, and then suddenly this man is going to be staring at me, saying,
"Why did you make a 3-hour iceberg about me?"
Honestly, mate, I don't have an answer. Sometimes I just make these long videos. Sometimes I'll get clowned for being a one-man bad, but I don't really know why. Sometimes they just seem to go on and go on and go on, and yeah, there's no logic to this, just like how there's no logic to any of his accounts. But what makes this account in particular disturbing is that this account also follows accounts that post images of little girls, possibly even being accounts of just, younger girls running those accounts. And that is quite disturbing considering everything that we know so far. What business does this man have following these accounts that post these images? What business does this guy have with trying to befriend younger girls? Now, obviously, this leads into the whole theories that we mentioned earlier with this guy engaging in illegal activity. Because people have liked to suggest that pretty much he follows these accounts because he is posing as a school child, and he hopes that these people will be lured into a false sense of security, and then he can engage in his nefarious means. But that actually does bring us to the ending of the list of accounts for now, and the ones that we've gone through in particular are pretty much the main ones that everybody kind of knows about. Now, some of you may not have heard about all of them or know the lore specifics surrounding them, but a lot of these accounts have been mentioned in a lot of YouTube videos documenting the lore and events surrounding Smart Schoolboy 9. And with that, we now need to move on from these accounts and go into more specifics surrounding Smart Schoolboy 9. And with that, we move into the fake interviews section. Now, this section in particular is probably one of my favorite pieces of lore when it comes to the Smart Schoolboy 9 iceberg. And it's mainly due to the fact that the whole thing is just so utterly ridiculous. And it stems from a specific YouTube video called "I Did an Interview of Smart Schoolboy 9" uploaded by Ezekiel the First. And yes, in this video, they claim that pretty much because of the whole hysteria surrounding Smart Schoolboy 9 in 2024, they decided to do everything that they could possibly do to get an interview with this individual and find the truth behind everything that was going on amidst the hysteria and madness.
I asked my team to do everything they could to try get him for an interview. I posted videos about him on my TikTok, which racked up millions of views. But days went by and we had no luck until I received a message at 3:40 a.m. They claimed he was Smart Schoolboy 9's cousin. At first, like anyone would, I assumed it was a troll, but they sent me some family photos depicting both him and Smart Schoolboy 9 in the pictures. I asked if he thought it'd be possible to get an interview with him, but apparently he has a ban from being on any social media. Just as I thought all hopes were out the window, they agreed to do one interview. Only one interview if we signed a contract to blur his face. He was a voice changer. My excitement soon turned to fear as I realized what I was walking into.
You fucking blind!
Now, yes, the interview itself, well, it went down really, really well. And look, in fairness to the person that conducted this interview, obviously they did get a lot of criticism, and naturally so. This was a massive topic, and they were blatantly faking an interview with an individual that a lot of people are taking very serious. But honestly, as much as I do want to take it serious, you can't help but just see this image and laugh. There's something about it which is just kind of beautiful and reminiscent of the old internet where there was just so much fake bollocks. But yeah, I'm gonna play a little clip from the actual interview, and I'll allow you guys to interpret whether you think this is real or whether you think this is fake.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I've traveled out here far from my home, but today is the interview you've all been waiting for. Me and Smart Schoolboy 9. I've got my team behind the camera, as well as Smart Schoolboy 9's cousin, which, as you guys can see, the face is blurred. We came to a mutual agreement that I had to blur the face. What? How old are you? Because there's people online that think you're a school kid, and there's people online that are saying you're 30, 40, 50, so...
Said I can't, I'm not allowed to talk about my age.
Okay, so obviously, it's very questionable, and naturally a lot of people called it out for being fake, but also a lot of people in the comment section were just pretty ruthless with their criticisms and were just absolutely cooking not only the person who faked this interview, but the person who was pretending to be Smart Schoolboy 9. Firstly, we start off with the pretty tame criticisms, such as, for one, he's not even wearing the right shoes, man, where are the heels? And then somebody also said he's wearing brown gloves, which he has never done in wearing gloves at this time of the year, considering that it was a warm summer's day. I mean, maybe, you know, Smart Schoolboy 9 is a bit of an odd bloke, but at the end of the day, nobody likes to be sweaty, and wearing gloves at that time of the year is pretty unrealistic. But then we move on to some of the more brutal comments, which is firstly, that ain't Smart Schoolboy 9, that's Intelligent Scholar 8, and then this brother grabbed a random utes and some uniform. And no, I don't endorse comments like that, but there are a lot of comments like that on this video, such as this one here, which says, I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it. But as you can see, they were basically getting absolutely cooked in the comment section. I mean, literally every single comment was like this. And honestly, given the UK community, what can you really expect? But in fairness, the video did get over 500,000 views, 8,000 comments, and I guess, you know, at the end of the day, my friend, the game is the game, and they were definitely playing that game right here. And, you know, naturally, some people were very mad about this, saying that we need to take this investigation very serious. You know, at the end of the day, there's always going to be jokes made about certain things, and yes, it isn't necessarily meant to be a joke, but sometimes a little bit of goofiness is good for an icebreaker in serious situations like this. So, yeah, let's move on to the next section in the iceberg, which is the red lips. Now, to be fair, I have kind of covered this section already when we were going through all the accounts, and this made me just refer to, yeah, Smart Schoolboy 9 has a bit of a weird obsession when it comes to big red lips. You can go through all of these accounts, and you will always stumble across an AI or photoshopped image of where a child seems to have rather, I guess, cartoonishly big lips that are very, very red. And I guess the question is that stemmed from this is, why is he doing this? What are the theories behind this? Well, honestly, most of the online theories seem to allude to some pretty simple things, such as this. Now, obviously, I can't clarify on these things and say that they're definitely absolutely true, but given the fact that this is a lore video going through all of the craziest theories and pieces of lore to do with Smart Schoolboy 9, I would be doing a bit of an injustice if I didn't report these things. And some people have also said that the reason that he could do this is to possibly represent a dead body, but to be honest with you, I don't really remember a dead body ever having big bloated red lips. Now, some have suggested the bloating could come from representing a drowned body, but at the end of the day, I still don't really think that's realistic. And whilst I do think that there is something sinister behind the whole red big lips thing, I don't think that this theory is necessarily that plausible. We'll go further down in the iceberg and find more reasons to why people believe this, but right now, I personally don't think it has much backing. And with that, we get into the next section of the iceberg, which is the tongue. And yeah, I imagine what this is referring to is the fact that Smart Schoolboy 9's tongue sadly seems to appear in basically every single photo and video of him. If you just look at the section of this iceberg alone, you can see that he seems to be, I guess, exaggeratively, is that even a word? I mean, showing his tongue in every single photo to a point of where it's kind of obnoxious, it's in your face, and seemingly quite deliberate. And I guess the whole question is again, why is he doing this? What is the look that he's trying to achieve with the red lips and now massive tongue? Maybe he just has a big tongue, or maybe there's something more sinister behind it. But another thing to know about the whole tongue section is a lot of people have pointed out that he seems to make a really weird noise with his tongue, and it has kind of perplexed a lot of people, mainly due to the fact that the videos of him doing this are very creepy. And I guess the main theory surrounding this section, again, is going to be something you hear time and time again, and that is the reason he does this, the reason he acts and presents himself like this, is because it really does, well, how do I say it in two ways? It gets him going. He is into this sort of thing, and I guess it's just something that he really enjoys. So with that, we move into the next section of the iceberg, and that is Doncaster. I mean, this is probably the most British-centric video I have ever made. I didn't feel like I'd ever have to make lore about Doncaster, but alas, let's speak about Doncaster. Now, Doncaster is a British city in Yorkshire, England, and it's also the birthplace of my dog Kenji. Yeah, subscribe and like this video for Kenji. But sadly, Kenji lore aside, it also turns out that Doncaster is seemingly the birthplace, or at least the location, that Smart Schoolboy 9 has resided in for the majority of his life. And now, this of course is speculation, and I'm not going to show specific addresses that people have tried to find and claim is where he lives, but I'm pretty fine in saying that Doncaster is where Smart Schoolboy 9 has resided, and that's mainly due to the fact that pretty much a million articles have been made about this saying the exact same thing at this point. There are YouTube videos of millions of views saying this exact same thing, so I don't really think I'm engaging in any, I guess, disrespectful activities here by leaking addresses. I'm simply saying that apparently Smart Schoolboy 9 is from Doncaster, but a lot of the information surrounding Smart Schoolboy 9 and Doncaster seemingly comes from a lot of individuals out there giving their personal accounts with Smart Schoolboy 9 when they lived in Doncaster. And as I said earlier, what you're going to notice throughout this video is the further we go down this iceberg, the more we're going to realize that this story didn't begin recently, but it began decades ago. Now, as you can see, this is an individual here claiming to be called Reverend, and they said that they lived in Doncaster between 2003 and 2010. I moved from Ireland for personal reasons and heard great things about Doncaster, considering my great aunt lives around that area and let me stay with her to get back on my feet. I was born in 1983 and was about 20 at the time when I first moved. I lived considerably close to Hyde Park. During my time there, I had a night job and slept all day and went to work all night. I didn't have a car at the time and wanted to save money by walking. I always walked alone and never had any issues with it until I saw this strange man, considerably overweight and messy makeup, wearing what appears to be a child's school uniform that barely fits and has very messy makeup at a children's park, playing by himself. It was hard to exactly see what he looked like because of the strange lighting at night, but I could see enough of his face. This continued for a while. It was strange how he was there every night alone at children's parks, doing whatever he was doing by himself. I eventually had a friend drive me to and from my job since we worked the same hours, and I mentioned the man I saw to him, and he laughed and told me that guy is all over Doncaster and he is a laughingstock. A lot of people know who he is, and he's reportedly gotten assaulted for sneaking on school grounds. Not sure if that's true, just thought I'd put it out there. Anyway, I moved out of Doncaster and I'm now back in Ireland. I watch a lot of scary videos, and when I saw the thumbnail for the Nick Crowley YouTube channel video, my heart quite literally dropped into my stomach. I went and did some research and stumbled upon this Reddit and made an account just to post this. I know this isn't a big lead, but I just wanted to put out a word that he is quite infamous around locals. Now, this post is obviously a massive revelation because it shows to us that this thing isn't just an internet thing. This isn't like a possible weird art piece of where he's playing some sick game trying to trick the internet. This is a very legitimate, real thing, not ran by a troll, and it has seemingly been going on for decades. But it doesn't end there with the personal accounts, because this led to even more people from Doncaster coming out and claiming how they would see this individual walking around Doncaster wearing this school uniform, and he would apparently even be hiding behind trees, and the police were also supposedly called in altercations. People served him in supermarkets, they were unnerved, he smelled badly, and of course, it was the same voice that we have all heard. But somehow, it doesn't even end there, because more claims were made about his obsession with posing as a schoolboy, being creepy to people in stores, and the people of Doncaster seemed genuinely shocked that this story had finally gotten out there. It seems that Smart Schoolboy 9 was seemingly a bit of an urban myth in Doncaster. And it honestly isn't that difficult to find even more accounts of people claiming over the years to have seen Smart Schoolboy 9. But not just in 2024. I've done my research and found accounts of people pretty much describing word for word Smart Schoolboy 9 in the years of 2016 and even before that. It's quite wild that this story has gone on for so unbelievably long. But with that, let's move into the next section of the iceberg, which is Y2K. Now, if you don't know what Y2K is, pretty much it's like an aesthetic or reference to a certain time period in the 1990s and 2004/2007, and it's an aesthetic that has really grown in popularity over the years on the internet. You will see a lot of people on TikTok claiming to have the Y2K aesthetic, and I guess it's just people who weren't born in that time or people that are nostalgic for that time, desperately wanting to cling to the past. It's something, you know, that happens quite a lot. I don't know why it's a desperately there, sounds like I'm being critical, but no, this is a aesthetic that is very popular, and a lot of people have said that the aesthetic that Smart Schoolboy 9 seems to go with is this Y2K aesthetic, and some people have theorized that the reason he's does this is to romanticize being as a child, and they basically go on to say that he's maybe creating a bit of a cinematic universe to possibly cope with trauma from previous events in his childhood. Now, personally, when it comes to the theory of he's trying to create a Y2K aesthetic to, I don't know, simulate some level of terrible things happening, I don't really think I can go with that theory, but maybe the theory of him trying to deal with some level of trauma is possibly true. And again, I will keep on saying this, and it might be a little bit annoying until you get to the segments, but this does kind of play into some sections later on in the iceberg where we speak about some of the things that may or may not happened in Smart Schoolboy 9's childhood, because maybe this entire thing is spurred from some level of trauma. Now, it's not a justification, but at the end of the day, we do have to find a root cause to explain why is everything here? Why has this story been going on for so long? This isn't just a random little joke or a little bit that somebody thought would be quirky and playing. This is something very serious that has been going on for so long, and there has to be a reason behind that. And the question about how long this has been going on for kind of gets answered in the next section of the iceberg, which is Salad Fingers. And this is quite an interesting part of the iceberg because, yeah, this does refer to David Firth, who is the creator of the series Salad Fingers. And coincidentally, it turns out that David is also from Doncaster. And with this and all the conversation going around with Smart Schoolboy 9, somebody reached out to him and just simply asked, do you know who Smart Schoolboy 9 is, and have you ever seen him in Doncaster? And as you can see from these messages here, people were very detailed about everything to do with Smart Schoolboy 9, and Salad Fingers did actually confirm he remembered Smart Schoolboy 9 walking around town in the late 90s or early 2000s. And when asked for details, he said he was a dark-skinned guy who would wear sloppily applied makeup with a bunch of white and red makeup. It was smeared across his face. I remember him wearing a white shirt and a school tie, and he had a strange posture, or walked quite leaned forwards. He was quite tall and walked very fast. He seemed startled, looking around to get paranoid, and then he confirmed that the identity that he was discussing here was definitely Smart Schoolboy 9 after he saw a photo of him. So not only is it a wild thing that this massive online creator knows and has seen Smart Schoolboy 9 before any of this stuff comes up on the internet, but it does also prove to us once again that this goes back even to the 1990s. And this does just show, given the description that we were given there, that Smart Schoolboy 9 would have been an adult in the 90s. So now in 2024, with him doing the same thing even 30 years later, he could be a very, or at least much older guy than we originally thought. You see, in these photos, I would have actually guessed he may be between the ages of 30 and 40. but it apparently could be that Smart Schoolboy 9 is around the ages of 60. But with that, let's continue and
Enemy
move on
care
further
package
down the iceberg to Smart Schoolboy 9's music career. Because yes, on top of everything,
Enemy
just like
UAV
every other
inbound.
micro-niche internet celebrity, I probably shouldn't describe him as that, but just like everyone else on the internet, Smart Schoolboy 9 decided to create a music career for himself, and
Hostile
yeah,
counter
the music
UAV
is
established.
definitely very questionable.
You walk a mile in the shoes of
Enemy napalm strike incoming. They're walking all over you. Have some goddamn pride.
You're not a human. You're the type of woman. So when you get it right,
Hostile RPXD in your AO.
tight. You know you got it.
Hostile UAV established overhead.
That's when you get it wrong. There ain't no song.
Net call. Enemy.
I mean, as much as I can say that this is a really weird, freaky piece of music, if you can even call it music, this definitely is the sort of thing that Fantano would give a 9.
Feeling a strong into a light 9 on this album. I think it's fantastic.
But now, these songs were actually leaked from multiple researchers trying to find the original person behind the profile of Smart Schoolboy 9. And all of these songs just seem to have a bit of a disturbing, terrifying, uncanny, unexplainable, spooky vibe behind them.
That's not the way to go. So I'll give you questions because I need to know.
Oh, I just need.
Yeah, I can't explain it, but it is just, it just feels so unbelievably wrong. And of course, this did lead to even more crazy, wild theories and speculation, as you can see here, for what people were saying that he may have done whilst performing this music. But despite how terrible this music is from Smart Schoolboy 9, it still somehow manages to be better than 95% of YouTube musicians. But now I actually want to move ahead and actually skip down a layer in the iceberg. I know I shouldn't really be doing that, but I do just want to go and speak about this section called David, which is in the next layer. And the reason that I want to do that is because, as I said earlier, people found the music of Smart Schoolboy 9 by